Hey, everybody. Hey,
Yeah.
Deborah. I see that you popped in right before we went live.
I'm trying to get into it right now.
Yeah, because I think she's the only one in here at the moment.
Trying to get
It's
it.
just
It
us.
says it's not streaming. Okay, now it's on.
Well, yeah, it's every single time you say that, it's just kind of like the volume thing he always says, it's not streaming yet because your thing has a lag on it. That's why. Yeah. All right, what the hell today it is?
So
Monday.
Deborah's here. Deborah's the only one here.
Well, now it's okay. There's 3.
They're all starting to come in.
Yeah, everybody's starting to come in now. What the hell day is it today? It's Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It's Monday.
So you want to just go ahead and start talking about the movie? Might as well.
Let's
or do you want to wait
until... do that.
Because okay. Now this movie, I saw something moving over there, and I thought it was the kitty, but it was your hand. I guess. Okay. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. It was like fucking. I thought Feeky was back in here running around like a crazy.
There's 4 in now. Everybody's saying hi. They're starting to all pile in.
Hi, Bees Nest Movies. Hi, everybody.
Okay.
So this movie, I had actually been wanting to do this one for a while. I saw it come up on Shudder a few weeks ago. I don't know why I didn't watch it. I just wasn't in the mood for it. And it's like, it looked like it only got like a 3 skull rating. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's not any good or anything.
It was better than that. It was.
But then the thing, I was kind of going through some lists of like, best horror movies of 2020 so far and stuff, like looking for stuff that we could review for the show. And this came up on like several lists, and I was like, what the hell? Maybe we'll go ahead and watch it last night because it looked like it would be fun, like a horror comedy. And so I figured, since it was Brazilian and, you grew up in Brazil, I thought it would be something you would enjoy.
Yeah, it's a real good Brazilian movie. It's the best Brazilian movie I've seen.
I mean, you don't see a lot of Brazilian horror.
No.
Although this is definitely a comedy, but it's a comedy in the sense that like Dead Alive
Evil Dead
or Evil Dead is a comedy.
It's this one. First of all, the guys who made this knew what they were doing. they must be about our age. It's seen all the fucking horror classics. It's a fucking throwback movie in a way. It's taking place now. It's about a bunch, But
he says, is it in Portuguese? Yes,
it's in Portuguese. Yes, and you want to see it in Portuguese, but the subs are accurate. It's funny it's funny as fuck. And it's it's an old school horror movie, kind of like Evil Dead. Practical effects mixed with some CGI, but the practical effects are fucking awesome in it. It's fucking funny as hell. They took the premise of it's fake Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's basically like Ghostbusters meets Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
or Sam Raimi.
Yeah. They call themselves in Portuguese what would translate to like fucking not ghost hunters, but kind of like phantom hunters.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they rip off the Ghostbusters fucking symbols and shit. It's fucking hilarious.
It's a triangle instead of a circle, though. So it's totally not a ripoff.
Yeah. And they have a YouTube show, and they go out and they fake hauntings and try to make money off the fucking YouTube channel. They're like these 3 or 4 of these damn losers. And they get involved with this case at a high school, and they get paid by the principal, who doesn't think the fucking haunting is real. He just wants them to come in, do a fake investigation, do their show, and then claim that it's cleared to calm the kids down. He's going to pay them $500 each.
Yeah.
They get there. They're ready to fake the whole thing. Turns out it's a real fucking haunting.
Yeah.
And it's the ghost of fucking Bloody Mary. All right. Now, when I was in Brazil, they didn't really have the Bloody Mary legend, but evidently they have it now. They didn't call her Bloody Mary. They called her Blonde in the Bathroom.
Yeah, when I did the Google Translate, because that's what you said, and I wanted to check.
Yeah.
So actually, the American, the English title is Ghost Hunters versus Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
The title in Portuguese is more like Spirit Exterminators versus the Bathroom Blonde.
Bathroom blonde of the bathroom, or bathroom blonde.
Yeah.
That's how
that's what
they call.
That's what the Portuguese title translates.
And you see, and they do the backstory and everything. I don't want to fucking spoil it, okay? But the Brazilian version of Bloody Mary, it's like a 13-year-old girl from a private.
She's 10, I think.
No, they said she's 13.
Oh, at one point they said she's 10.
No, one guy accused her of being 10.
Okay.
But she was actually 13.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because he called her a pedophile because he was having sex with a woman who was possessed by the fucking spirit.
Like an old woman that was
possessed. And he was trying to do the math.
This is a messed up movie. I'm going to say, okay.
It's got a typical Brazilian humor.
It's very
fucking sexual.
It's very crude.
Very crude, very sexual. They fucking race is fucking. They don't have issues with race in Brazil. That's fair game. So they fuck with people behind their races and everything. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
not PC at all.
And it's totally disgusting.
Yeah.
There's lots of gore. There's buckets and buckets and buckets of gore.
Yeah.
Lots of vomit.
Yeah.
Lots of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which made me gag, actually.
Yeah.
Guy
has to fight a fucking turd.
An animated turd.
Yeah. There's all kinds of vomit. It's every fucking.
There's a killer fetus. There's just.
Don't fucking wreck it. The edit is fucking very good. It's a very fast paced. This is the best Brazilian movie I've seen. It's a fucking. It's a good movie. I liked it, and it wouldn't. If you were to try to, dub this movie, it would fuck this movie up, because even if you're not really paying attention to the, like, I understand the dialogue, the acting was good.
Because somebody just asked if you are you fluent enough in Portuguese to watch the movie without subtitles.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah. The subtitles were accurate, but if you didn't understand Portuguese and were just relying on the subs, the voice acting is so good. She was laughing through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And they've seen all the fucking, whoever wrote the movies, seen Ghostbusters, they've seen Evil Dead, they've seen all the fucking great movies. They talk about fucking horror stereotypes. The characters in the movie talk about horror stereotypes. It's almost like Airplane. They're like, it's just me and you together. And in a horror movie, we should be doing drugs or having sex and then get killed. It's just that kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think the way they approach it at the beginning is, like I said, there's these 4 losers and they live. I mean, I love that they live in the back of one of them's dad's butcher shop. It's his dad, right? Or his uncle or something.
His uncle.
Yeah, I think it's his uncle. And they live behind there and they don't pay any rent and they're like a bunch of bums. They're just like trying to
make money off YouTube
not get real jobs, and they're trying to like make money off this YouTube channel. But all they do, and they've been doing it, didn't they say been doing it for like 20 years? Or something like that. It'd been like a really long time. It's 3 guys and it's 1 girl. The girl's like one of those like flaky psychic type chicks.
Yeah, and they're trying to get hits off her cleavage and shit. Get YouTube hits off her cleavage. So they put her head on a fucking another. In one of the promos, they put her head on another body that had bigger cleavage, trying to get more hits. She got pissed. She was terrible. Disgusting is what she said. Just it's hilarious.
And the uniforms that uniform that they get for her is very funny too.
Yeah,
I think I kind of love I love the character. I guess evidently I wouldn't know, but apparently like at least like the main guy or maybe like the top 3 guys were like kind of well-known comedians in Brazil.
Yeah.
So they didn't have anything to do with writing it or anything like that, but they definitely got like comedians for this. And this is. It's not a horror movie by any stretch of the imagination, other than it being like just over the top, disgusting and revolting with like just gore and puke and shit and everything everywhere.
But it has
but it's funny. It's mostly a comedy. It's very crude. It's very crass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
a lot of fucking gore,
cannibalism. Yeah. Like I said, there's like poop. I mean, how can you not love a movie that actually has the line "Not today, Mr. Poop"?
Yeah. Now, the monster course, Bloody Mary, she's probably about the cutest little, like, probably 10, 12, 13-year-old Brazilian blonde girl that you can imagine. She's fucking super cute. She's dressed in a damn sailor outfit, and then they got this fucking badass spooky makeup on her. She does a really good job in the movie.
She is actually really good at this.
Yeah, you see her with or without she's a German Brazilian. It's funny, when you see the cast here, you'll when you see them, there's a lot of stereotypes about how Brazilians look, but you see them, you can see why. I went there when I grew up there. People did not believe that I was American; they thought I was Brazilian.
Yeah.
So
well, there's not one Brazilian look.
No, it's multi. It's kind of
that's kind of like saying there's one American.
One American,
look.
yeah. It's multi-ethnic, and there's Anglos and there's Germans there and people of Irish descent. One of the main characters' last name's Jackson. You know, they have a lot. There's a lot of Confederates after the fucking Civil War ran to Brazil. There's a whole fucking community of them down there in the South. So, you know, when I was living there, most people just thought I was from the South of Brazil. But
they made a joke in this one too about like the one kid who was one of their fans.
Japanese
who was
kid.
a redheaded Asian kid.
Yeah. And that's true too. The largest Japanese population outside of Japan is in Brazil.
Yeah.
And they have a huge, it's called Liberdade. That's the town. It's a town inside São Paulo. It's a neighborhood inside of São Paulo. And Liberdade was set up by a bunch of Japanese who had run from Japanese dictatorship in World War II. But they had a bunch of tongs there. They had the Black Dragon Society.
Yeah.
Or is that what it's called? I think it was.
Well, wasn't that Count Dante?
That's Count Dante, but there was a real Black Dragon Society.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
that's right. We talked about.
It was a Yakuza society that was helping the Emperor fight America during World War II. That was there. But it's funny because like they do have like redheaded Japanese people.
Yeah, I guess that would happen.
Yeah, you'll see. And there's one of them in the movie.
And he's like, I like that they introduced that character. He doesn't really get introduced until later, but it does kind of like play up because he was kind of a kid who was like a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
And I guess it was him that got the principal to bring the thing because it was his friend that got, because the whole Bloody Mary thing in the movie, like you said, you know, when you lived there,
they didn't have that.
They didn't really have that legend.
If they had it, I didn't hear about it.
The one where you like say
something
name
in the mirror and you see her,
like Candyman or whatever.
I think maybe they had something like that. Maybe they did have that.
That seems like, I mean, I don't know, but that seems like a pretty universal.
Maybe they did have that.
Urban legend. I mean, everywhere that I've heard of has a variation of or something like it.
They didn't call her Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
They may have had something like that. And it was just a woman that you see in the mirror and they didn't have a name. But they didn't have a name for her in this. They had to invent that name. They just called her Blonde in the Bathroom.
Yeah.
And
she was like Mona Meg from fucking
Brazil picks up Americanisms over time through movies.
Yeah.
And that's probably where they got it. That's an American thing, I think.
Yeah. Well, and somebody pointed out, and I was just going to say too, that it might be that after Candyman came out in the early 90s, that urban legend might have proliferated even more.
I don't remember that. I don't remember anybody mentioning anything about saying anything in a mirror and seeing a woman.
I think it's really interesting though that, I mean, because you know Portuguese and because the English title was Bloody Mary because that's what she's usually called in the US. But you know, you said that's not what they're calling her. And even when I looked up the title, because I looked at the Brazilian or the Portuguese title as well, and it's definitely the bathroom blonde or the blonde in the bathroom is what they're saying. And she has a name. Her name's Katarina, but it's just funny that they decided to call her Bloody Mary because I guess if they called her the blonde in the bathroom, that
nobody know what they were talking about.
Nobody would know what they were, and that doesn't really sound like a horror
That's
movie
what
either.
Brazilians are talking about, though.
Yeah.
A Loira no Banheiro, which means the blonde in the bathroom. And that's what they fucking kept calling her.
That's what they called her.
and it's because Bloody Mary would be Maria Sangriosa.
Which sounds way cooler, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah, but maybe when they heard the fucking tale, they didn't hear the name of it. Just the concept.
The concept
of saying the woman's noise over three times in the dark, and it comes through.
Yeah, in this one, you not only had to say her name in the mirror, you also had to knock on the door of the bathroom stall 3 times and flush the toilet 3 times.
Yeah.
And they go into why that is. Like, they go into a little bit of her backstory and everything. Sandra said, I like Bloody Marys, the liquid ones.
Yeah.
I do as well. Matter of fact, I have some Zing Zang in the refrigerator still. I haven't had a Bloody Mary in a while. Although there's not a lot in there. I'd have to make like a little bitty one. Maybe I could have some day drinking going on. Have a little bit of Bloody Mary in celebration of this movie. But yeah, so I will say that, I mean, I think my favorite character in this one was the guy that they were just constantly shitting on all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whose uncle was like the guy that where the room behind where they were staying. It's like that.
Wait. Bloody Mary might be Maria Sangria.
Yeah. which also sounds like booze.
Marinas, it is booze. Maybe that's why they don't use it.
Maybe that's why, because everyone had said, "What's scary about?" So they're fighting a cocktail.
That's a cocktail. That's probably why they don't. That's
the next trauma film. It's like someone versus a killer cocktail.
That means it's a wine. Sangria is a wine, but that's Spanish. I don't. Latin languages are kind of bloody. I don't. Man.
Yeah.
Sangriosa. I think. They might have another term for bloody in Portuguese. I mean, my fucking vocabulary is a vocabulary of a teenager.
Yeah.
And I haven't used it.
Because you haven't been there in a long time.
And I haven't used it in a long time.
I mean, he remembers it because
I can understand it, but
you have some friends there too that you talk to occasionally. So
right. But the thing is that I speak in English to them and they speak in Portuguese to me because we all understand English.
Yeah.
And we all understand Portuguese.
Yeah. Well,
educated Brazilians all know English.
That works.
They can at least read or write it or understand it if they don't speak it.
That's something that I always found really interesting too, is I feel like a lot of Europeans and stuff like that, whatever their main language is, most of them at least understand.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are fluent in English, but a lot of them at least understand, like,
what's funny is that a lot of them that I grew up with, they didn't speak English at the time, but they do now. Because that was weird, And then some of them are here. Almost all the girls that I grew up with are here now.
Yeah.
They're all women in their 40s and 50s. Their families do whatever they can to get them out of there.
And well, too, I think it's there's more incentive for people to learn English, just particularly because, American pop culture is so prevalent around the world.
And there's a lot of people, I want to say something about fucking immigration and shit. People always thinking about, well, people from all around the world should come here. It's good for America. You can look at it that way, but immigration was terrible for Brazil. It was nothing but just a brain drain. All their best people left.
That's
fucked
kind of
Brazil up.
Yeah, that does happen.
The best thing a Brazilian could do is to leave Brazil. That's a fucking bad situation. That's a bad way of doing it. It was fucking very bad for Brazil.
Well, we were talking about that too, just in regards to the U.S., like in smaller rural towns, or some whole states in the U.S. where if there's not a lot going on there, if there's not a lot of industry there, they're going to be a brain drain as well because the young people aren't going to hang around,
right.
And stay in these tiny little towns, and they don't think they can get anywhere with it, so they're going to move somewhere else.
Yeah, and then they leave Brazil, and then they come here to the United States and just get chewed up and spit out by our corporations. It's when had they stayed in Brazil,
well, we all do, I guess.
It's almost kind of like a modern form of importing slaves because the rich people don't give a fuck about you. They're going to get you here, depress the fucking wages, chew you up and spit you out, and replace you with a robot eventually.
Yeah.
That's the system. Speaking of crazy shit, the judge, one of the judges who was in charge of the case about the Child Island man, her family got fucking shot up today, and then a few hours later, another fucking lawyer involved in that same case, he got assassinated. And it was just like I said earlier in the show. They came up, dude was dressed as a fucking Federal Express mailman.
FedEx driver, yeah.
Yep. Rang the doorbell and he opened it. He shot the son, pow, and then the fucking husband, pow, let her live. And then he fucking left. And then they got another one, Child Island man. And they didn't kill a judge. You know why they didn't kill a judge? They just put a new judge. They tried to scare that judge.
Yeah.
That's why. They're trying to send a message. Not to fucking convict any Child Island man's fucking customers.
It's really weird because I was just reading about a case from 2001 because I was looking into it for the book I'm writing, of a dude, Thomas Wales, and he actually got assassinated in 2001. He was a district attorney or something like that.
Yeah.
They think he might have been shot either because of some case he was working on because of some high profile airline pilot or because he was an anti-gun advocate. But it was a professional hit. They know that somebody just like shot him through the window.
Yeah.
But it's weird that I was just reading about that.
Now,
what
I would do
he said something.
if I was in Child Island man's clique, I would frame Trump. I would say that Trump put the hit out to defend himself. That's how I would play it. Do I think he did it? No, I don't think he did. I don't think Trump has the strength to fucking put a hit on anybody. People kind of have this fucking misconception that Trump is a strong president. Trump is a weak president. You know, I agree with a lot of what he's doing, but he's a weak president. He's surrounded by people that don't cooperate with him. The Pentagon hates him. The top parts of the Republican Party hate him. All of the Democrats hate him. He's basically the entire fucking system's against him. I can't believe he's survived as long as he has. If Trump had the power to put hits out on people, he would have done it already. He'd be winning. Because if I was in his position, I'd have killed half them people up there by now. They're lucky I'm not the president.
We're all lucky.
You're all fucking lucky. First thing I'd do is
I don't think that would go well.
I would cut a deal with the Mexican drug cartels, have them come in and here as my private army, and then I could deny it. So I don't have anything to do with these guys. Don't vote for me. I'd have the fucking Medellin drug cartel in here cooking your children.
That's not cool, dude.
That's how I get.
Don't say that live. Why are you even talking about this?
Because if I would be the emperor.
We were talking about.
I would be the emperor.
See, this is the only reason I didn't want to do live stream, because I was just kind of like, well, we're talking about a fun movie, and all of a sudden he's talking about like killing innocent people. So that's nice.
I would become the emperor.
If you think so. Okay. No, I was trying to read like some of the comments like before you went off on your fantasy there. But which, like I said, I don't want to get demonetized, but too late now probably. Somebody said Moped Problems said they did have the Bloody Mary legend when I was a kid, right around the time Candyman the movie came out, and they called her Bloody Mary. Kids also improvised.
This is in Brazil?
Evidently said kids also improvised and said the mirror thing worked with Freddy Krueger, which, okay, fair enough.
This is in Brazil?
I don't know.
Okay.
Ask.
I'm asking him.
And then Sandra said in Germany, almost all of us learned English at school. That's what I thought. I thought pretty much everybody learned other languages, which is weird because, I mean, it's been a long time since I was in high school, but you didn't have to learn a foreign language in high school. You didn't have to take a foreign language.
Yeah.
You did if you wanted to go to college, because I took 3 or 4 years of French. Of course, I don't remember any of it really, but other than a word here and there. Sometimes I'll watch a movie in French and be like, hey, I know what that means. But I took Spanish for a few years too, but that was like a long time ago. He said no, that was in the Bronx, New York. Yeah, because like I said, I think Bloody Mary is a pretty well-known. I mean, I think it's called other things like in other areas of the U.S. I was just talking about that legend in Brazil, where you grew up.
I don't think Brazil had it.
Well, like I said,
I don't remember it.
I mean, American movies have proliferated so much around the world that probably any legend that they talk about in an American movie, if that movie gets any kind of traction in another country, it's people are gonna come up with their own versions of it. Well, evidently now they do. They just don't call her that.
Yeah, blonde in the bathroom.
It's funny how they didn't like really come up with a funny name, like a cool name for her. That's like what they called her.
Yeah, that tells me it's something that they picked up. It was an Americanism they picked up.
Yeah.
And Bloody Mary, the translation would have been, like I said, some wine.
Yeah.
So they didn't. So they just used. It was that chick in the bathroom.
Wine's
she must be American. Kill me. Blonde. Yeah, she's American. She's blonde. Something like that.
The killer blonde in the mirror.
Yeah. But I thought it was a great movie, though.
It was super fun. I thought, like I said, if you're really into like super gory, disgusting, crass kind of shit, like Dead Alive or Evil Dead or something like that, it should be right up your alley. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, it just got more and more ridiculous like as it went on, and it was just obviously having a really good time with it. Not for the weak stomached, that's for sure. Although the only part that grossed me out was the third part, because I can't watch anything to do with like fucking shit.
Louis Hernandez said the Mexican cartels are already here. Yeah, I know they're already here. It's just that as the United States fucking declines and starts to break apart during its fucking eventual demise, fucking usually what ends up happening is you have kind of like a damn. We're already in like the Roman imperial phase where you have all the rich people and all the fucking political parties doing assassinations on each other. And then, hiring barbarian armies to come in and handle business because the state is so corrupt and weak and so divided, you can't get anything done. You got to hire foreigners to do it. It's only a matter of time before it goes that way. You know, you guys know I'm patriotic. I fought for the United States as one of its soldiers and stuff. I, at one time, believed in a lot of its values. I don't really believe in its values anymore. I don't think I don't think it's realistic. Not with the society you have today. It's just gonna fucking collapse, kind of like the Soviet Union did. The good thing about it is that the United States is made up of states. And the state governments, a lot of them are still real strong. They'll just survive as independent countries and make new coalitions and stuff. But it's just too damn big. There's too many political differences. There's too many different fucking. I mean, if you look at what's happening right now, what's moving to the forefront is ethno-nationalism. You know, everything's being divided up by race. BLM is an ethno-nationalist movement. When you can interpret it that way if you want. And it will just continue to fragment along fucking racial lines, probably. And that's really going to fuck up elections. There's too many damn people, and you can't get them to all agree on the same things. You're not going to get them to agree on the same fucking values and the same laws. And they're not going to believe any of these election results from here on out. It's the system's poisoned, and it's just going to continue to get worse. I think the safest thing to do is just let it break apart into different regions. That'd be the safest thing. You don't want to waste your resources and your blood trying to hold this shit together. I don't think Americans want to be in the same country anymore. Not anymore. That's just my take on it. Jenny wants to stay totally neutral on that. She doesn't believe it, but I'm just saying. That's just what I'm seeing.
Okay, but we were doing a movie review.
Okay.
Anyway,
right.
Movies on Shudder.
Movies on Shudder. We already did the review.
And I'm hungry, so I'm going to go eat.
Okay.
All right. We'll probably be back tomorrow. Probably do another movie review or whatever we think of doing. So again, thanks for dropping by, and we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow. See ya.